Alrighty, well, cool. Well, thank you guys for joining. And for those of you who don't know me, sorry, I've got you guys over here. But for those of you who don't know me, my name is Brittany Ferguson, and I'm a yoga and functional movement teacher from Texas, now living in Breda, and the founder of Yoga Netherlands. And the style I teach, what makes it a little bit different compared to other styles of yoga, is that it's based on anatomy, mechanics, and functional movement. So everything's very purposeful. We're focused on posture and working the joints through full range of motion. So we have a happy, healthy body, and we can make these innovators more successful in their professional lives by feeling good, feeling great. So we'll go ahead and get started, and we're going to start standing if you've got space for that. You only need like a U-size spot on the floor, but we will start standing. Good. And so I like to start all of my classes with balance, and that's to help us get grounded. So this is my left foot that I'm standing on. My right foot's going to come on top, and I'm going to wrap my hands around the back. So you're trying to grab your elbows from behind the back. Good. So shoulders reach down away from the ears, head reaches up towards the ceiling, so you have a nice long neck. Good. And then start taking some big voluminous inhales here. And so in this style, we were also inhale centric, and that's because if you knew how much you were holding your breath throughout the day, it would shock you. Like you will find yourself hunched over working on a project or sitting in traffic or on the train, and you're holding your breath. And so here we're really focused on taking the biggest inhales possible. And so let's go ahead and grab this right knee. We'll make it a little bit more challenging since we got a lot of strong people in here. So if your hips hip forward, see if you can shift it back. Shoulders reach down away from the ears. Good. And now we're going to take this right knee with both hands holding the knee over to the right. So this is external rotation of the standing leg. And so for a lot of people, external rotation is much stronger. So that's why we work on balance. So now we're going to take that right knee over to the left for internal rotation. And so this, for a lot of people, is much more challenging. You can roll out that right foot. Yeah. Good. Step out of that. Roll out the left foot. And then we'll repeat on the right. So right leg is super duper straight. Left leg comes on top. And once you've found your balance, you can go ahead and grab this left knee. You can roll out the ankle. And we always start with balance, and that's to get you grounded, get you focused, because for a lot of us, there's a lot of chaos, even just energy in the air, uncertainty, not knowing, when all of this is going to end. And so it's good to get present, get in the body, and focus on yourself. So let's take this left knee over to the left for external rotation of the standing hip. See if you can get a squeeze, contraction in the right glute. And then take this knee over to the right. So see how far to the right you can get that left knee without bending the standing leg. Good. All right. So legs come down. We're going to turn our feet in, and this is what we call golfer's stretch, and it's a great one if you've got any lower back pain, which we're all pretty young here, but if you spend enough time sitting, you can experience lower back pain too. So our feet are tended, our legs are straight, and we're just going to tick-tock the hips. And so same thing here. This is getting the internal rotator muscles of the legs stronger. So we're going to tick-tock the weight into the left foot. So my left leg is straight. We're going to come up onto tippy toes on the right. Now I want you to walk those toes over to the right like you're trying to turn your hips towards the left. Good. And now if you, before we do any movements, just imagine what would happen if you picked up this right foot. Your hips, your body wants to unwind like this. Hi, Christiane. Thank you for joining. We're going to do a little chair yoga, a little standing yoga. So join us when you're ready. All right. So we've got our hips over to the left. And now we're going to lift up that right leg and fight to stay with our hips pointed towards the left. Good. You can see how your body wants to spin a little bit. Good. All right. So we're going to set up again. Our feet are turned in. You can TikTok the hips, Christine. Good. And so now we're going to put all of the weight into the right foot. We're going to come up onto tiptoes with the left. And now we're going to spin the hips over to the right. And so you'll feel kind of a lot of work happening in this right hip. Now I want you to lift up the toes on the left and try to stay facing this way. Don't let your body untwist. Good. And then lift those toes up if they're not already. Nice. Good. All right, TikTok the hips there. And that little move was to help with some lower back pain. All right, so now we're going to do bad waiter, which is my favorite postural reset. And so your feet will be about hip width distance. We're going to bring our hands forward like you're carrying a dish. We're going to pivot at the elbows and then reach the elbows forward. So you come into a little back bend. So let's go to the side. Yeah, hands come forward, pivot at the elbows, and then reaching the elbows forward. So you're pulling yourself into a little back bend. And then you want to imagine you have a bowl of soup in each hand and you're pouring it out behind you. So pouring it out the hard way. Good. So here you'll feel, I call this the anti-slouch. So you guys stay here. This is what we look like normally. Maybe this is an exaggeration, but we're hunched over our computers. And so this is essentially the opposite. So the shoulders are open, they're down away from the ears. You might feel some tightness, some shortening in the back of the shoulders. And you're also in a mini back bend. So if you come into this pose 25, 50 times a day, this will dramatically help with your posture and any pain you're experiencing caused by sitting at a desk. So good, this is one of my faves. So now we're going to come into back traction. And so our head weighs about as much as a bowling ball. And so our spine is made up of over 20 different joints. And so constantly this bowling ball is pressing down on the spine. So now we're going to use back traction to create space in the vertebrae. So the palm of your hands are going to fit in the hip creases. You're going to bend the legs and try to sit on a chair or an imaginary chair behind you. And then we're going to work to straighten the arms. Any amount. And then start taking some deep inhales here. You want to imagine that your arms, whether you can straighten them or not, are creating space between each one of the itty-bitty vertebrae. You can relax the belly towards the floor. Here, it's okay if the shoulders come by the ears to make space, and then if you feel comfortable, maybe close your eyes and just focus on your inhales here. And with every inhale and exhale, you feel your ribs expand and contract, maybe creating a little bit more space in the vertebrae. Good. Another really nice one, you can bring the elbows just above the knees. You want your hips to be higher than your head. And now we're letting the bowling ball essentially pull the spine apart with the help of gravity. So we're hanging off the hips and letting gravity do the work to decompress the spine. Good. Take a couple inhales here. You can place your hands right above the knees, help lift you up. And then if you've got a chair, hopefully everyone's got a chair. And we're going to do the rest of this from sitting in a chair, if that's all right. Good. Yeah, stools work, anything. Cool. All right. So this stuff you can all do working, taking a couple minute break. You can do this while you're on a conference call. And so one thing I am going to mention, you may not have it today, and we don't need to use it today, but is the help of a yoga block. If you guys spend all day typing away, having a yoga block or even a book, like a dictionary-sized book, is a really nice way to help correct your posture. Because even me teaching yoga, teaching a few hours a day, if I'm here sitting in a chair long enough, my posture is going to slump. So utilizing the yoga block, a book, anything like that, you can place it in your chair to make you more upright. And so it's just a gentle reminder of keeping your body upright while you're working away. So if you've got one, I'll demo with it, and of course you don't need to use it today, but if you've got one, I'll just demo. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna slide our hips as far back to the chair as you can. And if you've got your block or a book or something, you can set the block behind in your lower back. Good. And if you don't have anything right now, we'll just imagine that you do. And so maybe after this class, you can find something. Good. And so you can already feel a big difference in your posture, the lengthening in the abdominals. And now I want you to imagine you've got a wall just coming straight up from the back of the chair. And I want you to try to reach the back of your head onto this imaginary wall. And if you've got a block, to make it if this seems easy for you, if you're like, not too bad, you can take the block in the next widest dimension and place it behind your back here. You can place your hands on the knees and then really try to press your back, curl the back over the block. And so when you do that, if you close your eyes, you can feel the spinal extensors turn on. And so this is the exact muscle that when we're slouched over, are in a lengthened position. And so muscles, you experience pain or sensations, discomfort in muscles when they're lengthened. So here we're working to shorten those. Good. Close your eyes, take a couple breaths here. And to spice it up a little bit more, we're gonna make a fist, thumbs up, on our knees. And now we're going to raise the hands straight up. And I want you to imagine that you can touch the thumbs to the imaginary wall behind you. Good. And so here you should definitely feel those back muscles turned on. Arms are super duper straight. And for this last one, I want you to try to press your thumbs into this imaginary wall and lift your chest off of the wall. Ooh. Hopefully you feel those back muscles engage. Last deep inhale here. And this is one you can do in a chair, also against the wall. You set your hips against the wall, your feet are about a foot width distance away. You can lean over this block or this book on a wall, which is really quite sensational. Do you guys feel that? Do you feel the spinal extensors engage? Good. All right. So next we'll do side flexion. So now you can come to the edge of the chair. Yeah, and sometimes a grimace is like, oh, what was that? That's the face. All right. So just set your left hand on your leg. Right hand is going to come out to your side, and we're going to side flex over to the left. So creating as much length as you can on this right side. And you want to, and everybody looks great here, but try to have your chest focused up towards the ceiling. So sometimes we get in the habit of doing this, but this is nothing more than a slouch. So really trying to twist even your chest up to the ceiling. Close your eyes, take an inhale. Imagine you can send your breath to the right side waist. Good. Right hand comes down on the quad, left hand comes out. We're going to reach over to the left. Again, reaching and twisting the upper body towards the ceiling as much as possible. Feeling a nice stretch all the way from the fingers, down the arm, across the shoulder, and the side waist. Good. Now we'll go for a spinal twist here. So we're going to take our left hand, place it on the outside of the right knee, and our right hand can come either to the back of the chair, the side of the chair, and you want to try to disassociate your spine from your lower body. So your legs are going to stay facing forward, and just your upper body twists. Good, we got to jack it off. It's heating up. Good. And maybe it feels nice to you to kind of come in and out of the pose. And so I mentioned it before, but in this style, we are focused on full range of motion. So, we're already pretty good at spinal flexion. So that's why we focus on extension. And then side flexion and out twisting. So this is all of the directions that the spine is meant to move. Good, and I'll repeat on the opposite side. Right hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Find a comfortable position for the left hand, and then twist. Hopefully you get a nice back pop or two. Good. Back to center. And so next we're going to do, maybe y'all have used this at the gym, but a leg extension machine. And if you've got the block, we're going to use it behind the back. If not, don't worry about it today. Sit at a comfortable position. Kind of seat doesn't have to be, or your bum doesn't have to be quite at the back of the chair. But here we're just going to bend and straighten the legs strongly. And so if you don't have the block, you can slouch here and you don't really feel a whole lot of work. But when you're in spinal extension, this is much more challenging. So whether you've got a block or not, fight to keep your spine extended. So hopefully maybe you can play around with doing this in a flex position and then doing it with spinal extension and feel the difference in the legs, how much more challenging it is. Good. All right. Good. You can set that block behind, and now we're going to do modified quad burners. So in my regular classes, we do quad burners, and they are going to do exactly what it sounds, burn the quads. So you're going to find, you may have to do a little bit of shifting depending on your chair, but you find a comfortable position, more than likely at the edge of the chair. Your feet are going to be hip-width distance and parallel. And then what a quad burner looks like is we're just going to raise and lower off of the edge of the chair. And so same thing here, you want to fight to keep your sternum facing towards the ceiling, and then just gently come on and off the chair. And I want you, when you go to sit back on the chair, I don't want you to fall into the chair. I want you to be working the entire time. Good. And so, depending on your ankle mobility, your knees, this will look different for everybody, but everyone will feel a burn. Good. Now, instead of your hands out straight, I want your hands to be up towards the ceiling. So even more in this back bend. Good. And one more level. I want you to imagine as you're doing this, that your feet are trying to slide apart. And so try it a few times on your own and notice what muscles have to turn on to try and pull the feet away. Do it a few times and maybe point to where you feel the muscles are engaged. Does anyone feel the difference as you try and slide the legs away? Good. So if you do that, you'll feel all up and down your hips, your glutes. Good. All right. Good. Relax out of that and shake out the legs. Hopefully y'all are feeling a little bit of heat from that. And now we'll go ahead and stretch it out. So we're going to start with my left foot more or less in the center of the chair. And my right ankle is going to cross, my right ankle is going to be on the left side of the left knee. So if you've done this before, it's kind of called a figure 4 stretch. So we're going to flex the toes back towards the knee and just kind of relax here. We'll let this be in a passive stretch. So I want you to, as much as you can, fight to keep that arch in the chest. And close the eyes, feel the work that we did. Maybe your heart rate's up from the quad burners. See if you can slow it back down by taking an inhale that is just as long as the exhale. Now that we've been here for a few breaths, we're going to make it a little spicier. So I want you to imagine I've got my hand underneath your right knee, and you're trying to press your knee into my hand. So if you look at the screen, this is me in a passive state, and this is me in an active state. So again, we're turning on the muscles of our glutes, the outside line of the hip, to make this a more intense stretch. Sometimes you'll see people using their arms to press the hand down, but our triceps, our muscles, are much stronger than the ligaments in our leg. So we really shouldn't be doing that. But you can get the same effect just by turning on the glutes. So not only are you getting a Beyonce booty, you're getting stronger and it's safer. So hopefully you feel a little bit more intense of a stretch. If this is new for you, back off as much as you need, but just kind of play around here. All right, we can relax out of that. And then we'll repeat on the opposite side. So now my left ankle is going to cross to the right side of the right knee. We'll flex the toes back towards the knee. And then stay here in just a relaxed state, in a passive state. And close your eyes. Notice if this side feels different since it hasn't been stretched yet. And now we'll make it a little bit more active. So I'm going to take my hand, imagine I've got it on the underside of your left knee, and you're turning on that left glute, muscle in the left legs, and trying to press the knee into my hand. And of course, for everybody, especially if this is your first time doing it, you may not see a noticeable change, but the thing that we're working at is the work, or getting our brain connected to those muscles. Because especially if we're sitting a lot all day, or we play a sport but we're not actively focused on these muscles, it's really easy for our brain over time to kind of get disconnected. And so in this practice, we're trying to get our brain tied to all of these muscles so we can take care of our body. So a couple more inhales here. Good. All right, so we'll relax out of that. And I'm going to show another one that I really like for the posture. It looks like some people have blocks or something. So I'm going to go ahead and demo it. If you can do it, great. If not, maybe you'll remember it for next time. If you got a book or something, books are also great. So we can stay seated so everyone can see. So we're going to take a block. Oh, look at that. Yeah, heck yeah. Perfect. Lunch pail. I like it. Good. All right. So we've got the block in between the elbows. We're squeezing the elbows with the block. Elbows are about shoulder height, and we're about 90-degree angle from the upper arm bones. Now we're going to reach the thumbs apart. There we go. And we'll be here for a little bit, so start breathing now. Maybe yell and maybe bring your block down a baby bit, you and your partner. Yeah, so you got about half the block hanging below. Good. Cool. Good. TikTok the neck here. Nice. Good. Now we're gonna lift the elbows 1 inch, shoulders down away from the ears, squeeze the block, reach the thumbs apart. Yikes. Hopefully you guys feel this in the shoulders. We're turning off upper trapezius. Yikes. Good. Over to the right shoulder, left shoulder. One more time, blocks reach 1 inch. Squeeze the block, shoulders down away from the ears. Reach the thumbs apart. Hopefully your arms are shaking, otherwise you're not doing what I'm doing. Good. Awesome. All right, relax out of that. Go ahead and stand up, find a little space, shake out the arms. Good. Let the arms be super duper heavy. Feel the weight of the arms. Pull the arm bones away from the shoulders. Good. I'll leave you guys with one more bad way for the road, and then we have time for a little bit of questions, comments. So hands come forward like you're carrying a platter. Pivot at the elbows. And reach the elbows forward. Then you got those 2 bowls of soup in each hand. You're pouring them back behind you. So your pinky goes up towards the ceiling, thumb down. Widen the W a little bit more so you're more of a wonder. Beautiful, beautiful correction. Take off the head here. Good. Awesome, guys. Thank you guys for joining today. And if you've got any questions, please let me know.